Hello everyone, how are you guys doing today? Alex Cameron over here in sunny San Diego. Welcome to another week of our hashtag Sticky Note Tip training series. I'm so excited to talk about this topic today. Influencer marketing is definitely gaining a lot of momentum in 2016. Thank you for everyone who's joining in live. To all the replay viewers, thank you for tuning in as well. I'm really excited to start this new series with you guys. I started doing this a couple weeks ago on Periscope because I want to try to reach as many people as possible and give you guys easy action items to take away from each of my sticky note tip trainings. So today's topic is all about influencer marketing. How can you grab the attention of the top influencers in your industry, and more importantly, how can you turn them into valuable business partnerships? Hi everyone, Alex Cameron here, tuning in from sunny San Diego. Just to give you guys a little bit of a story about myself, what I do. I love to tell people that I am their Google for all things social media. Pretty cool, right? Yeah, so I am a social media coacher. Where does that word even come from? I'm a social media coach, trainer, and speaker. There you go, I got it right this time. And I love to teach about social media. I work with a lot of small business owners, marketing professionals, busy professionals just like you guys who want to be able to use social media to grow their business, but a lot of times can get overwhelmed and stressed over it. That's the motivation for this new training series that I'm doing, is that I want to give you guys easy action items that you can put into place right after this training. A lot of times when we go to conferences or workshops or even webinars online, we can get a lot of information given to us, and that's fantastic. I mean, we want as much information as we can have. However, we can get really overwhelmed with it, right? We're getting all this information thrown at us in about an hour's worth of time. Then we leave the webinar or we leave the training and we don't know what to do with all of it. And I know that I have definitely been guilty of that. I've taken a lot of great notes at trainings, and then, I kind of move on to the next task in my day, and I don't always go back to that training and really put into place what I learned. So I want my trainings here on Periscope to be the exact opposite of maybe what you're used to, where you take a lot of notes and then, you kind of move on with your day. I want to give you one easy tip that you can immediately put into place as soon as you leave this training. So if you find this valuable, make sure to tune in live every single Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's when I'm going to be doing this new training series. Also, if you know of anybody who would find this valuable, whether it's a marketing professional, a small business owner, anybody who is stressed out about social media and just needs some easy, valuable tips to help grow their business, make sure to swipe and share this with your tribe, whether that's on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. I greatly appreciate you guys spreading the word because, like I said, I want to be able to provide this training to as many people as possible. And also, I'm seeing some hearts floating up, which I love hearts. So thank you to everybody who is participating today, who is watching, and who is showing the love. I love to see that. I'm going to turn the screen because I want to go over our topic today a little bit more in detail so you guys have an understanding of what the heck I'm talking about. Want to grab the attention of your top influencers. That is the highlight of today's hashtag sticky note tip training. So we're going to be talking about, first of all, what is an influencer, number one, okay? Because I feel like sometimes we can have misconceptions about what an influencer is, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we know who our influencers are in our specific industry. And then number two, we're going to talk about, okay, how do I find these influencers without spending hours of my life trying to find them myself? Well, lucky for you guys today who are tuning in, I'm going to show you this one tool that is an absolute game changer for all things when it comes to influencer marketing. You're gonna love this, okay? And then number three, the last talking point that we're gonna talk about is, once we find these influencers, how do we turn them into valuable business partnerships? Because it's great to know who these influencers are, but how fantastic would it be is if we could build relationships with these influencers and they could help us to spread the word about our brand and about our content, because that's what we ultimately want. We want to build a mutually beneficial partnership with these influencers where we're providing value to them, obviously, right? So we can grab their attention, and we'll talk about more about how to grab their attention. But also, you know, the idea of being able to work with these influencers who have such a loyal audience, it's really going to help us in our social media marketing strategy, especially when it comes to marketing the awareness of our brand, okay? Are you guys ready for this? Because I am so ready to talk about this. It's one of my favorite tools ever, okay? So we're probably wondering at this point, okay, Alex, you've built the suspense. What is this week's hashtag sticky note tip, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, I actually had to write 4 different sticky notes for this, and I'll show you the drafts of my other sticky notes because I was actually finding it a little difficult to write everything on one sticky note. But of course, I'm going to follow through with what I said. The idea of these trainings is that I'm able to put the highlight of each training on a sticky note so that I make sure not to overwhelm you guys with too much information. Okay, can I get a drum roll, please? Because I'm about to reveal this week's hashtag sticky note tip, okay? Here we go. This week, the tool that's going to transform your influencer marketing strategy, guys, is a tool called BuzzSumo. I know, it's a very interesting name, and when I show you their logo, maybe you'll understand better why they call it BuzzSumo. By the way, thank you for all the hearts. I love me some hearts. So the topic of today's training is how to find top influencers and, more importantly, build relationships with them so that you can have valuable, mutually beneficial partnerships, okay? And I'm gonna show you, this is how many sticky notes it took to create the final product. I was having a hard time fitting this all on one sticky note, I'm not gonna lie, because it's such a great tool. There's so much you can do with it. Let's get into it, okay? I'm gonna turn the screen over just so I can talk to you guys a little bit more. So are you guys intrigued? I'm certainly intrigued. When I first found out about this tool, I had no idea the value and power of it. I knew what influencer marketing was. I knew who the influencers were in my industry, but I had no idea where to start when it came to building relationships with these people. And so part of what I'm going to talk about today is why these partnerships can be so valuable to your business, especially when it comes to your online presence, okay? So I'm going to do a live tutorial of this tool, which for you guys who maybe want to Google it later, the tool is called BuzzSumo. BuzzSumo. It's spelled B-U-Z-Z-S-U-M-O. You can Google it and it will come up. I'm going to give you guys a live tutorial of how to use this tool to find the top influencers in your industry. Now I'm going to highlight the fact that we're talking about your industry. There's a lot of influencers out there, okay guys? There's a lot of them. However, we want to make sure that we're finding the right influencers for us where it's going to make sense to build a relationship with them. So I'll teach you how to find these influencers, and then the second part of that is once I find these influencers, how do I actually start building a relationship with them? It's not as hard as you think it is, which I'm sure when you first think of the word influencer, you probably think of someone who, you know, is very high up in our industry, who has a lot of followers. You know, the first thing that might come to mind is, you know, well, why would they want to build a relationship with me? You know, like I'm Alex, I'm just a small business owner. I can't provide any value to them. Well, number one, that's a lie. So get that out of your head. There's always ways to provide value to individuals, okay? So I'll show you guys how to do that so that you can build long-lasting partnerships with these people. I've come into this a lot where I've built these relationships. It didn't take me that long. Now, it does take some time, guys, because we're building relationships here. It's not something that happens overnight. Just like with anything in marketing and in relationship building especially, you have to take your time with it. It has to be organic. It has to be genuine, but you do get a lot of reward out of it. You get a high ROI, okay? So let's go ahead and dive into this tool that I'm so excited to talk about today. I'm gonna go ahead and flip it. Okay, you guys see my lovely screensaver. So let me go ahead and pull up, I don't want you guys to see my password. Okay, let's go ahead and show you guys this tool that I'm talking about today. Now, what's cool about today's training, guys, is that I actually did a webinar with BuzzSumo in January. So I'm going to share the highlights of that particular webinar as well, so that you guys can really understand what influencer marketing is, who influencers are, and then how to build relationships with them. So I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is the home page for BuzzSumo, which, like I said, this you can Google. And another great thing about BuzzSumo is that they have a free account that you can set up. Now, there are some pro features that you can pay for, but when you're first starting out with influencer marketing, guys, the free version is more than enough for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into it then. There's a lot that you can do with BuzzSumo, okay? I'm just going to start with that. What I'm going to focus on today is what's called the amplification tool within BuzzSumo. Amplification meaning that we're going to look at the key influencers in our industry who are helping to spread the word about other people's brands and content, okay? Because that's what we want. Now, before we even go into this tool, though, I do want to kind of discuss what an influencer is. I mentioned that I did a webinar with BuzzSumo about influencer marketing, and I'll go ahead and show you guys a couple of the slides so you get a little insider knowledge about this as well, which I think is cool. So first of all, though, let's talk about what an influencer is. An influencer are people within your industry, and I highlighted your for a very specific reason that I'll go over in a little bit, who already have established trust with an audience. The last bullet point here, guys, if you remember nothing else from this training, remember this: true influence drives action, not just awareness. That is one of my favorite quotes from a guy named Jay Baer, who is a influencer himself. He's a marketing influencer, and he just said this so beautifully, so eloquently, in a really simplistic way. True influence drives action, not just awareness. To explain, though, more about what an influencer is, an example that I gave during the webinar was this this tweet situation, okay? So let's just say that you were active on Twitter, you posted something on Twitter, and Miley Cyrus just retweeted it, okay? So a natural reaction to this would be, OMG, Miley Cyrus just retweeted me on Twitter, hashtag this is awesome, hashtag I am famous, hashtag influencer marketing. For those of you who are just tuning in now, welcome. We're talking about influencer marketing and how to use a tool called BuzzSumo to turn these top influencers into valuable business partnerships. What I'm talking about right now are examples of what influencer marketing is not. Probably wondering, well, why is that not an example of influencer marketing? Miley Cyrus obviously has a huge following on Twitter already. She retweeted my content. Why isn't that great? Well, it is great, guys. Like, I would probably pee my pants if Miley Cyrus retweeted one of my tweets. I mean, that is pretty awesome that a celebrity recognized you like that. But here's the thing. Miley Cyrus is in the entertainment industry, okay? Now, your business may or may not be in the entertainment industry. So let's go with that it's not, okay? Let's just say that you're in health or fitness. It would make more sense if an influencer in your specific industry retweeted you because they're drawing the same tribe that you are. And the purpose of being on, or one of the purposes of being on social media is to increase your brand awareness. So you want to partner with influencers in your industry who are ideally bringing in potential clients that you would want to work with, okay? So going back to the Miley Cyrus example, it's great that she did retweet your content, but like I said, you probably wouldn't form a partnership with her because she may be drawing a different crowd than the crowd that you want to draw in. So keep that in mind when it comes to influencers. Not only that, but it's more than just having 1 million followers on Twitter or a huge Facebook page following, okay? Influencers are about driving action. So, if you look at an influencer and you go to their social media channels and you see that their content is being reposted, shared, retweeted, if you're seeing, more importantly, that they're sharing content, then that is an influencer, because they're driving more than just, ideas. They're driving action, and that's what you want. You want people to act upon what their influencers and what you are telling them to do. Those are clear call to actions that everybody wants. So you want to make sure that when you're looking at what an influencer is, and that you're choosing to build relationships with these influencers who are actually driving action, whatever that looks like for you, okay? So I think we have a good understanding now of what an influencer is. It's important to know that you should, partner with people who are in your industry, who are driving action from their followers to help promote their brand, their content, or their business partners' brands and content, okay? So then let's go back to BuzzSumo, which, like I mentioned, this is the tool that is going to be the game changer for all things influencer marketing. It's going to save you hours of time of trying to find influencers in your industry, which you could probably do on your own, but it would probably take, weeks to do this. Whereas with a click of a button, or probably within a couple of seconds, you can find these influencers really quick. It's BuzzSumo, okay? So that's BuzzSumo. I'll go ahead and flip the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So there's how you spell it up there. Yes, okay, awesome. Glad you got that, Miss Sevilla Lopez. I may have pronounced that wrong, so I apologize, but that's the tool right there, okay? Now the specific part that I'm going to talk about today with BuzzSumo is what's called amplification, okay? Amplification is the tool you use to actually find the influencers in your industry. So what you do is that you type in the industry that your business or your brand is in. So I see that there are a lot of fitness people on Periscope. So let's try this out with fitness. So if we wanted to find the top influencers in the fitness industry, all we have to do is type in the word fitness, okay? And then we're going to press search. So what's coming up at this point, guys, is the list of the top influencers in the fitness industry. So within a couple of seconds, literally, you were able to find these influencers just by clicking a button. It's so fantastic. I mean, this portion alone is going to save you so much time on your influencer marketing strategy. Okay? Thank you for the hearts, by the way. Love the hearts. Thank you, guys. I mentioned earlier that an influencer drives action, okay? So what BuzzSumo does is that they give you options for showing you what their ratio looks like when it comes to retweeting. Is that for one specific social media platform? Clarify what you mean by that. I'm going to discuss how BuzzSumo identifies or finds influencers. A lot of it is based on their retweet ratios. So what I mean by that is they're showing you how much of their content is retweeted, which generally is a good thing, right? Because that means that they're sharing other people's content, which is what we want, okay? It also gives you an understanding of their reply ratio, so how many of their tweets are actually replies. Oh, is the search specifically for Twitter? No, it is not. It's giving you a list of influencers from all across the social media platforms. So it actually, the more important part though is that they let you filter it based on metrics that are more specific to Twitter, okay? So I was talking about, retweet ratio, reply ratio, average retweets. Obviously that all applies to Twitter, but the overall metrics of BuzzSumo is calculated based on all their social media channels. So what's great is that once you have this list of influencers, this gives you such a good direction of people to reach out to. Now, what I would recommend is finding people who are local to you, so who are close by geographically. Is generally a good place to start, because then you can actually meet with these people if you want to have, in-person contact, which is a great way of building relationships, okay? So here we go, guys. This is the tool I'm talking about. It's BuzzSumo. If you go over to the amplification tab, you can type in whatever industry you're in, and it's going to give you the list of the top influencers in your industry. You can also easily follow them right from BuzzSumo. So if I were to click on this link right here, it would automatically follow them, okay? Now it wants me to link my Twitter account, so I can go back and do that. But once I link my account, I should be able to follow them right from BuzzSumo. So that's kind of step one of this whole process, okay? And that is finding the influencer, which we just did. Now the second part, which in my opinion is the more important part, is how do I then build relationships with these influencers? I mentioned earlier on the scope, guys, that it's going to take some time. This is not an overnight process, okay? This is building a relationship. Gotta go pick up my little guy. We'll watch your complete broadcast tonight. Okay, no worries. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, this is available for replay for 24 more hours. So I look forward to seeing you again on the replay view, okay? Thanks for tuning in, though. I appreciate it. What was I saying though? Oh, and thank you for inviting followers. I love that. Thank you so much. I'm loving all the love today, guys. It's making me very happy. Okay, so going back to this relationship building, think about real life, okay? When you're building a relationship with someone, whether, you know, it's a potential partner or spouse, or it's a friend, or it's a business partner, it's not one of those things where you have one phone call and all of a sudden you have this, you know, great relationship. The same thing applies to influencer marketing, okay, guys? It's going to take some time. Now, that's not to say that it's going to take, you know, months or years, okay? It may take a couple weeks to start building that foundation, but the reward of it is that you have somebody on your team that wants to help promote your content, which is so valuable today. I can't express how important it is to have people on your team who are essentially your brand advocates, you know, people who want to spread the word about what you do. Fun fact, or maybe not so much a fun fact, but definitely an interesting fact, is that on Facebook, for example, you know, only 5 to 7% of your audience sees your content on Facebook. It's crazy, right? Yeah, that's a very low number. So even if you have a couple thousand followers or likes on your Facebook page, only 5 to 7% of those folks are seeing the stuff that you post, whether that's on a daily or weekly basis. Facebook did that very intentionally because they want to make sure that their clients, who are the people who are on Facebook, are staying happy with Facebook, right? So if they are seeing content that doesn't resonate with them, they don't really want to see it, that's going to turn them away from Facebook. And Facebook obviously does not want to do that. So unfortunately, the organic reach on a lot of our content, especially on Facebook, has declined because of that. So we want to make sure that we have people beside ourselves who are helping us to spread the word about our brand, about a company. It's so freaking important. Going back to building this relationship though, how do I build relationships with these people? That can seem very overwhelming, but honestly, it's really not. One of the things I love about social media, guys, is that we can connect with people that we never could have before because of the fact that all these people are present on social media. It no longer takes an email or no longer takes us going on their website, trying to find a phone number to contact them. We can reach out to them. We can connect with them in real time, which is fantastic. It makes our lives a lot easier. When you're building a relationship with influencers, the number one thing you have to remember, guys, is that you want to provide them value, okay? An influencer is not going to pay attention to you if you're not bringing them some sort of value, and it's understandable. I mean, they're humans just like us. They only have so many hours in the day. They want to make sure that they're making the best use of their time, just like we want to make sure that we're using the best, utilization of our time. We want to make sure that we're providing value to them, okay? The next question would then be, okay, Alex, how can I provide value to an influencer to get their attention? Well, luckily, that's one of the things I talked about during my webinar. So I'm going to pull up the screen. I'm going to switch the screen real quick. Here is a really good big picture of how to provide value to an influencer. For those of you who are just tuning in now, we're talking about influencer marketing, how to build relationships with influencers and turn them into valuable business partnerships. This here is a great guide on how to provide value to an influencer. The first one I have listed here is social engagement. That's exactly what I was talking about earlier, where you can connect with these influencers on social media. So whether that's on their Facebook page, on Snapchat, on Twitter, whatever the platform that they're very active on, make sure you're following them, retweet their information. You want to make sure that you're, providing as much value to them as the potential value that they can provide to you. Another example of providing value is through positive feedback. I'm actually going to give you guys a real life example of how I provided positive feedback to one of my influencers. I confessed a couple weeks ago now that I used to be a Snapchat hater. Okay, yep, I know, don't throw tomatoes at me. Yeah, I didn't initially see the value of Snapchat for business. I knew what Snapchat was being used for. I knew the demographic on Snapchat, but for myself personally and for other business owners, I didn't see the value of spending the time on Snapchat. Then I saw a lot of my influencers blowing up on Snapchat. They were building such a loyal tribe on there through their storytelling. And so I joined Snapchat the beginning of this year, and honestly, guys, I'm so happy that I did that. I'm having so much fun with Snapchat. It's such a different platform compared to Facebook, Twitter, and the other social media channels. You can have a lot of fun with it and still use it for business purposes. Going back to this example, though, of providing value to an influencer, I connected with an influencer on Snapchat. His name is Roger Edwards. You guys can Google him. He's over on the other side of the pond in the UK. I love following him on Snapchat because I love his accent. Anyways, so I was following his stories, tuning in kind of to learn more about him and what he does. One of his Snapchat stories was about this ebook that he was creating, and he wanted some input on it. So to me, that was like a ding, ding, ding. Okay, I can reach out to him, provide some positive feedback on his ebook, and start the conversation, right? Start building a relationship with this individual who I could see myself partnering with in the future. Now, to go back to what we were talking about in the beginning, Roger is an influencer for me because, number one, he's in my industry. He is in digital marketing. He works with social media strategy. So check that. He's definitely in my industry. Number two, I saw that he had a very loyal following on Snapchat. People were engaging with him. So I knew that he was driving action, which is what you want when it comes to influencers. For those of you who are just joining, we're talking about how to build relationships with influencers in your industry, how to provide them value. So I'm giving you guys a real life example of how I did that with a nice chap, if you want to call it that. That's what they call it over in the UK. Nice chap named Roger Edwards, who is a digital marketing expert. I reached out to him on Snapchat when he asked for some feedback on his ebook. I actually emailed him, asked him for a copy of the ebook, read it through, gave him some feedback. He was very receptive to my comments and suggestions, so the conversation had already started. At that point, I thought it would be cool for us to partner together to do a blab. I emailed him back and asked if he would, was willing to participate in a blab. For those of you who do not know what blab is, it's very similar to Periscope. It's in a live streaming app, but you can have more people talking at once. So with Periscope, it's more a one-on-one conversation where, you have one speaker who's talking to a large audience. On Blab, you can have up to 4 speakers who are having a conversation. Very similar platform, but it's definitely gained a lot of popularity in 2016 in addition to Periscope. But anyways, so I reached out to him about doing a blab, and we're in the talks this week about doing that. Okay, so it wasn't one of those things where it happened overnight, but what I did was that I found a way to provide value to this individual, and in turn, the idea is that I can build a relationship with him where we can help promote each other's content, and that, that is one of the goals of having a relationship with an influencer, okay? So that's just one example of how you can provide value to an influencer. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the screen. I talked about social engagement, okay? So going on their social media platforms, following them, retweeting their content, commenting on their Facebook posts, letting them know that you do exist and that you do support them. Thank you for all the hearts, by the way, guys. I'm getting so much love today. I'm freaking loving it, okay? I think this is a really good topic, and I'm glad that I'm doing it as one of my trainings. The last point that I added on this slide was doing a blog feature. This is really, really valuable. This is providing like a lot of value to an influencer, okay? What I mean by that is that if you or your company has a blog, how fantastic would it be if you featured one of your influencers on your blog? This is very intriguing to an influencer, really to anybody, because now you are exposing your audience to an influencer who may or may not know about this individual. So an influencer is definitely going to be, interested in this because it's another way to spread the word about them, right? And then you're building a relationship, you're providing value to that influencer. The thing is here, guys, the bottom line is that you have to find a way to provide value. That's how you're going to grab the attention of an influencer, okay? And like I said, it is an organic process. It's going to take some time. It may take a couple weeks. It may take a couple of months. But if you are dedicated to this and you provide value, you're going to see some results. Okay, so we talked about what an influencer is. We talked about how to find these influencers using BuzzSumo, and then we talked about how to build relationships with these influencers, okay? I hope from this training that you guys now feel a little bit more comfortable or a little less overwhelmed about influencer marketing, because it can be very scary at first. The idea of reaching out to somebody who is obviously a VIP in your industry. I hope you guys feel a lot better about this topic, and I hope that you use this tool, which, like I said, you can create a free account, and then start exploring, start finding who your influencers are. Okay, I mean, these are great way to build relationships with these influencers, and then find a way to provide value to them so that you can start building these valuable partnerships. Okay, that's kind of the gist of what I was going to talk about today. If you found this valuable, like I said, please feel free to share this. Oh, I love this. Keep preaching, sister. Okay, I can keep on preaching. I'm glad you actually brought that up, because I'm doing another series here on Periscope. It's called #ScopeAboutIt. Okay, and I'm actually doing it during the evenings. It's a lot more fun and casual than what I'm doing during the daytime. I'm still talking about all things social media, but it has a little bit of a fun twist on it. Okay, now you're probably wondering, why did I call it #ScopeAboutIt, okay? The reason why is because there is a person called Matt Bellassai. If you have no idea who that person is, Google him. His name is Matt Bellassai. He did a weekly series on BuzzFeed called Whine About It. Yeah, it was really, really funny. And what he did was that once a week, he got drunk at his desk. It would whine about all these things that our culture likes to whine about, okay? It was so funny. It was very refreshing. He was, such an entertaining person. He's actually, his career recently skyrocketed because he won a social media award. So now he's kind of taking his career to the next level. Well, I wanted to kind of do a little play on words with that and do a #ScopeAboutIt, where I don't necessarily whine. Well, I do a little bit of whining. I'm not going to lie, guys. So if you guys want to tune into that, I'm going to be live tonight. Usually I've been doing it anywhere between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock because I'm still experimenting with the night crowd, but I would have to say I'm really excited with who's tuning in at night. There are so many people who are on Periscope at nighttime. It's a little bit different crowd than the afternoon, which I like because I'm able to interact with a different group of people. But anyways, I'm playing around with this. It's more of a social experiment right now to see if it gains traction. But if you want to tune in, I'll be live tonight talking about customer service on social media because I'm not going to lie, I had two disappointing experiences with two relatively well-known brands, and unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, our brands are a fishbowl. Our company is a fishbowl because of social media, and so is your customer service. Okay, so many more people are being exposed to how your company works, and you want to make sure that you're creating great customer service on all levels, whether that's over the phone, whether that's over email, over social media. You want to make sure that you're providing quality customer service, because here's the thing, guys, if you aren't, people are going to know about it, and they're going to know a lot faster now because of social media. Rather than sending an email to someone who the only person who's going to see that email is one or two people in the company, you can now tweet at the company, and guess what? Everybody's going to see that, right? Anyways, so that's the topic for tonight's hashtag Scope About It. So if you want to tune in, I'll be live tonight. Make sure to bring your glass of wine or your favorite beverage. I'm going to be doing some fun little ingredient testing with drinks and hopefully, sharing that with you guys. Oh, thank you. You're a natural. Well done. You know what? I love that. I love the positive affirmation that's happening right now. I just talked about the other night about trolls and about how nasty trolls can be. So it's really nice to see the opposite and to see so much positivity on Periscope. Okay, guys, I've done too much ranting for today. I really hope you enjoyed today's topic. Make sure to tune in live every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. This is definitely gaining a lot of popularity, my trainings, so I hope to be able to do them more than just once a week. So stay tuned with that. If you want a sneak peek about what to expect for next week's training, make sure to follow me on Snapchat, okay? My Snapchat name is Alex Cameron, so that's my name, Alex Cameron, SD. SD stands for San Diego because that's where I'm from, okay? So follow me on Snapchat. I'm pretty much on all the other social media platforms as well. If you're big on Instagram, I love to share some of my highlights from my scopes on Instagram as well. So you can find me through my business name, which is Signature Social. I don't think I mentioned that in the beginning, but the name of my business is Signature Social. I mentioned this earlier on, but I am a social media coach, trainer, and speaker. I love teaching small business owners about all things social media and digital marketing. So I look forward to helping you in the future. Like I said, I'll be doing these training series once a week. So I will see you guys for sure next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you guys can't tune in at 1 o'clock, that's fine. These Periscopes are available for 24 hours after the original broadcast. So don't worry about that. You still got some time to even watch this one, like all the replay viewers. Thanks to everyone who tuned in today. It was so awesome being able to teach you guys about influencer marketing, and I'm looking forward to see you guys, if not tonight, then definitely next week, okay? Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you later, okay? Bye.